Hey, Rich,
Hey, Michael.
and welcome everyone to BitPunch Radio episode 031. How you doing, Rich? You
Doing pretty good.
you're complaining that your brain was mush before we started
Yeah.
recording. What's going on? What's the matter with you?
uh, my real world job is slowly turning my brain into mush.
Oh,
Um, just super busy, lots of stuff to do, too many things to think about all at once.
mm.
So it's great. Yeah. Um,
Well, we don't want
at
to
no,
we don't want to talk about work though, right?
no, no,
We
no,
want to talk
no.
about fun stuff like
Yeah. Like
what do you got on your list here? Not much else.
not much else. I should have put on here solving computer problems.
Oh, you
Because
doing that now?
that's essentially what I did for about 3 days, or the last 3-ish days. Um,
Doing a
so
little
when I
help desk?
yeah, it's ready to throw some stuff around my basement this weekend. So I normally when I would stream, I had or before I had 1080p monitors. I had 1080p 60 hertz monitors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I bought this semi fancy new gaming PC that's got this 3060 Ti and it's the 1440p card, and I'm like, maybe I should go do this, right? And uh, you know, like most Americans, I was walking through Costco as one does,
That's where the
and
danger started at the beginning,
yeah,
anyway.
I mean, I was just beelining for that chicken, that rotisserie chicken, and hey, what do you know? They have a 32-inch G-Sync LG gaming 165 hertz 1440p monitor.
Oh, it's got G Sync in it.
It has G-Sync in it.
Wow, that's a big
Um,
deal.
and it's a 32-inch, and it was $279, and I was like, that seems like not enough money, as one would do in Costco, right? The
Right.
whole point of this thing. And so I, as a complete jerk, stood there, standing in front of it on my phone, price checking. Um, the as with most other things, Costco, this one is like a Costco item. Like when you try to look up the model number, it
Sure.
just
Yeah.
shows up at Costco and nowhere else. But I found an equivalent, the exact same monitor, but a 27-inch, so smaller, at Best Buy for $400.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, whoa, this one's bigger. And I need two of these because I have two monitors, dual monitor setup. So, well, I was like, I mean, I have to buy these now, right? I mean, these are $120 cheaper than the smaller ones,
Yeah.
right? So I did it.
You're saying
Um,
them because you bought.
I bought two. Yeah, I have two 32-inch monitors now here. Um,
How big is
and
how big is your desk?
So my desk is 60 inches wide by 30 inches deep, and I can tell you that these monitors kind of side by side, slightly with kind of the space in between them is
Sure.
like right dead center of my desk, and with them sort of slightly tilted toward me, they reach the edge of my desk. So I have screens all the way across,
So
60 inches.
so I've got a monitor that's dead center in front of me,
Yeah.
and then I have a laptop on a stand to my right, and then I have a 24-inch monitor to my left. I think that would bother me if I couldn't look dead center at something.
So I was the same way
Okay.
until at work I got dual monitors years ago, and I noticed that it was like bothering me because I had one dead in front of me and then one off to the side,
Mm-hmm.
and like I started noticing like pain in my shoulders and neck, and I was like, God, like what the heck? And it's because I was spending too much time looking at that other monitor, and I kind of Googled like what's the best setup, and everything says like from an ergonomic standpoint, if you have dual monitors, you should be staring basically at the center between the two. So that's the way that I always set it up, and I don't have that problem anymore.
Right.
So the big issue comes in, right? I've been gaming at 1080p. It's been great. You know, everything's running at a gajillion frames a second. It's awesome, right? I hook up these two 1440p monitors and immediately start having trouble whenever. Actually, I didn't notice it right away because I was just playing games. I wasn't streaming. And when I opened OBS to kind of test some stuff out, I noticed like all my recording and even like my OBS, what it was showing me, was just stuttery. And I was like, well, what's going on with that? Like, I didn't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to change like how it sat in there in the canvas. Long story short, ended up essentially what was happening is the two games that I was sort of testing, Prey and The Witcher, are like really heavy on the GPU because The Witcher I have modded the hell out of. Not really. I've got like one really big mod, and Prey is just a GPU intensive game. So it's hitting my GPU, you know, at a pretty high percentage, like over 90%, which is fine. That's what that thing's meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to run at 100%. So what I noticed is, you know, trying to play at 1440p and do 120 frames a second is like, it'll totally do it, but I can't do that and stream.
Because you are using your GPU to encode.
Yes, NVENC or NVENC, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
That's built into the NVIDIA cards. Yeah, I'm using that to encode. And I never really understood the two PC setup, the sort of streaming PC and then your gaming PC. Now I totally understand that whole concept. Because I was like, what the hell, man? If you've got like a 3080 or a 3090, what do you need another PC for? Well, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to stream at 4K or play at 4K or 1440p, then I mean you're asking that thing to do a whole lot more. So
right.
Eventually figured that out after a lot of, you know, frustration and testing, and got that straightened out.
So what do you mean though? What you got it straightened out though? You're playing. What'd you have to do?
So what I ended up having to do, so I'm still playing games at 1440p, like on my screen. For Prey, I ended up having to lower. I had everything on as max as it would go. I lowered it down to medium, and Prey actually doesn't have a frame rate limiter in it, like a maximum frame rate you can set it to. Because that's one of the things I wanted to do, because it was trying to push. I mean, that thing's just going to push as many as it can, right? And it's just going to keep pegging the GPU. And I really wanted to get in there and like drop it to 60 because I knew that'd save me 30%, probably 30%.
Right.
So I kind of lowered it down, and then in OBS, instead of trying to capture 1440p, I capture 1080p, kind of downsize my screen to fit, and then actually output at 864p, which is the next integer of 1440p.
Right.
So learned a lot about Twitch and how Twitch does bit rates for people who aren't partners. So that's kind of where I ended up and streamed last night, and it was silky smooth.
Good.
So that worked out pretty good. I learned more about OBS, which was nice. There's a whole stats screen in OBS that will show you like if your stream's running like crap, which is pretty nice because it's really hard to like keep track of like what the stream actually looks like while you're playing, because you're playing the game, and then you have OBS, which is kind of a pretty live preview of what you see, but it's not really showing you what the stream sees. And you can only do so much on one computer. You're already like playing a game, have OBS running, and then you're going to have a browser open playing a video, which is also hitting your GPU. So I've got like an iPad and like all this stuff. And yeah. So yeah, long story short, obviously most games, you know, if like Splitgate, I can run max settings, 120 frames. It doesn't matter. Like that game just doesn't hit the GPU as hard as Prey. So yeah. But yeah, I think I finally have settled on the proper way to do that, the proper settings that I need to have. So that's just one of the that sort of stuff just frustrates me. Right. Where like I won't be able to let it go. I will stay up until 3 a.m. until I figured it out. and like I won't be able to sleep. So I'm glad that I figured that out.
Mm-hmm.
So I played more Prey to get into video games. I kind of missed last week. I wanted to stream it last week. Actually, had some issues launching it last week. This was before all my other problems. I kind of sat down to stream it last week and it wouldn't launch, and I was already kind of tired. And I was like, man, I don't have the gumption for this right now. So not sure what happened there. I uninstalled it, reinstalled it. It seems fine.
Just
now.
Game Pass
So,
being Game Pass, you know.
yeah, we're gonna talk more about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played more Prey last night. Kind of got more into it. Man, that game. I think I'm gonna like that game. I'm probably 3.5 hours in now. That game's doing some cool stuff. It's doing some BioShock, kind of immersive stuff. One of the one of the things that everybody should go watch the stream from yesterday. But there was a section where I went into this scientist kind of lab, like his room, and a lot of this game seems to be built around the people that are on the Talos station, this space station, where you can like go into this like directory and like pick a person and like go find them on the station, whether they're dead or maybe alive. So this guy had this MacGuffin, this video game thing I needed to do for the quest, so I had to go to his office. Went in his office and he's got like a video diary thing, and I had kind of looked around his office because it's kind of a looting game. You need to loot and grab stuff because you're crafting and doing all these things. And I picked up his thermos, and his thermos like had his name like written on it in masking tape. It was like this cool little thing. I was like, oh, that's neat, you know. And I kind of threw it on the floor, and then turned around and went and watched this little video log where he's kind of explaining something to someone, and kind of didn't think about it. Kind of walked away from that, and there's these like computers everywhere, like on people's desks, and they're interactive. You can like open them up without like, not like in like the Fallout terminal way where you like sit down and like the whole screen zooms in. It's more like interactive, just, you know, from first person. And so you're like clicking and you can read their emails and stuff. And so I was reading through his emails, and he had sent something to one of the other scientists, and he's like, hey, I need you to make me a thermos that weighs 170 grams when it's empty. And then like a few days later, he sent something to a different person that said, hey, I need you to make a scale that reads 170 grams, you know, as a default, right? And I was like, well, that's weird. Like, what does he want to do that for? And so I go back, and the movie was still playing, the little video I had started. And it was like toward the end, and he had like walked away from the camera and was like doing his thing, and the camera was still recording. And he walks over to this side table and grabs his thermos, and he kind of sits it on this scale, and like he's like mad at it, and he picks it up, drinks it empty, sits it back down, and this drawer opens up, this secret drawer. So he had made this little secret key, and his key was his empty thermos. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I went and grabbed the thermos, walked over to the thing and put it on there, and the door opened. And I was like, oh, man.
That's pretty cool.
That's freaking cool. Like, this is one of those games. And actually, it bugged on me. So I had figured this out, and I had, before I had walked over and threw the thermos down, and I went back and I couldn't find it. Like, it had bugged out and, like, rolled under something or something. So I reloaded the save and went back and did it, and it was, yeah, that was pretty cool. So there was 2 like upgrade points in there. And like if I wouldn't have stuck around and like read those emails, like I may have not even picked up on like what was happening. Yeah.
So they said anything about, like, that game sold well, right? Or is it just like how arcane games do, where it's just like it's kind of quiet? Like, it's got an audience, but it's not multi-million.
I don't think it was a big like a big blockbuster by any means. It's just one of those games that I think a lot of people fell off of. But the people who finished it and the people who like that style of game are like, yeah, this was one of my favorite games ever. Like, it's it's kind of like the best game that nobody's played,
Right.
type of thing, which is what made me kind of want to play it. And I've always been kind of interested in their games because they do kind of have a unique style for sure. So that game's pretty fun. I'm still enjoying it. Excited to get back to it.
You think you'll pick up Deathloop before it comes to Game Pass, or you think you'll wait?
I'll probably end up playing it
Because that's the same studio, right?
Yeah, same studio as Dishonored, Prey.
That's Arcane.
Arcane, yep.
So before Dishonored, do we know what they worked on at all?
Yes, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
It was a lesser known title, I think. But yeah, Dishonored was kind of their first. Might have been their first like game, like their like own new IP, if I remember right. But yeah, I'm still really liking Prey. I actually got to a point in that game where you go outside, like into space, like in 0G, and that's actually really cool. You get like a bunch of little,
I feel like
thrust
that's what I've
mechanics.
seen like from their. If you look at like pictures of Prey, it's always like of the moon.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yep. The space station is kind of near the moon. It seems like in orbit. So. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep playing that game. We'll keep streaming it. I'm really liking it so far. I haven't had any luck killing any of the bigger enemies. Every time I try to take one on, they kill me pretty quickly. So I've been sneaking around them and kind of evading them at this point. So we'll see how that goes.
Looks like it's
so
called
far, I'm
Arcs.
liking it.
Arcs Fatalis. Fatalis. According to their website,
Okay.
they've done a handful of Dishonored properties and Prey, Deathloop, and that Arcs game.
Huh. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
So you're playing that on Tuesdays on Twitch.
Yep, we'll be playing that on Tuesdays.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the other game that I tried to play this weekend was Sable. We played that a week or so ago.
Yeah.
Pretty cool little game. It's supposed to be, I can't remember, like 5, 6, 7 hours long, something like that. So I'd sat down on like Saturday and I'm like, I've got probably 2 hours before everybody else wakes up. I'll beat this game before the next week's podcast.
Sure.
Holy cow. Loaded that game up and it ran like awful. And
this is after monitors, right? Like this is you.
No, this was in between monitors. This is before morning of monitors. Yeah.
This was your idea of, I know what'll make Sable run better if I throw a higher
165 hertz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go buy a 165 hertz monitor so I can play Sable at 20 frames a second. Yes. Yeah. So we had done the little BitPunch play of that, little look at it, and it wasn't running very good.
Nope.
The biggest issue is we had no sound for most of it.
Now, was that by design?
No, that was a bug.
Okay.
No, I had played enough after that where it was running pretty good that the whole sound thing was a bug.
Because I heard on another podcast, I don't remember what I was listening to, but they brought up the same thing, the fact that as you move away from the like a little hub area, like the sound will start coming back. And you even mentioned that during our BitPunch play, but I think what you're talking about is it would just straight bug out on you.
Yeah, when we were recording that, it was like very inconsistent about when it played sound and when it didn't.
Right.
You know. But yeah, I tried to play that Saturday morning because it had been running pretty good. It had took a patch and it was running pretty good. But yeah, I tried to play it Saturday morning, loaded it up, and I mean it was running at like under 30 frames a second, and just that game already has some weird animation, like the character animates at a real low frame rate, but everything around Sable, the main character, kind of moves faster at like a normal frame rate.
Like calling it like a comic book style is That almost sounds derogatory in a way. We don't mean it. I don't mean it like that,
No, that
but
game is
just
super pretty.
it
Like,
is. Yeah.
yeah, I played it it was the weekend before last, like after we had taken a little look at it, and I was digging it. Like I was
Hmm.
like, there's something to this game that's pretty cool. Like it's really chill.
Got
There's
that
no
little
fighting in it.
got that little
You
buggy
know,
that you can upgrade and stuff.
yeah. There's no shooting. There's no. I mean, it's just like, okay, I've got this quest. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna climb, and there's gonna be this little climbing puzzle, and maybe this little kind of Breath of the Wild style puzzle that I got to do in the environment. Just kind of a really chill game, and I was kind of digging it. So I was pretty bummed that I wasn't able to. I was like, oh, I'm not playing it like this. I want to wait until it's fixed and actually ready to play. Um, so yeah, that kind of bummed me out. Um, hopefully though we'll fix that, and I can get back to stable. I was wanting to sit my older daughter down and let her play that
Mm,
and let her kind of run around in there because it's kind of low stakes.
sure.
Um, it's not like trying to sit her down with Mario and she just keeps falling into the first hole. You know,
You're like, just give it to
um,
me.
yeah, just give me this damn thing. God, yeah, it's like playing two player and she just never gets to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need Mario is missing. I'll download an emulator for that. Um,
Okay. You have your fun with that. I'm good.
hey, I can do whatever I want on Tuesdays with the stream. Don't
That's
tempt me.
Hey, that's true.
I will,
It's
I
all
will
yours.
stream Mario's missing. I definitely will do that. I wonder if Nintendo would take that down. They would have to take that down. No, they'll never know we're streaming it. But like, if somebody that people actually watch streamed it, I
Oh,
wonder,
because there's
wonder if
not
they would
like
take that down.
a kosher way to
Yeah,
get that game.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you could. Yeah, I wonder. Because I mean, people
Hmm.
emulate games all day on Twitch, But like,
Right. Yeah.
can you prove where they're playing it from? Like,
I bought a copy of Mario's Missing at one point in my life.
yeah. Yeah, I mean I don't have a way to stream Super Nintendo games. I'm going to stream Super Mario RPG at some point. I have owned 2 copies of that game and bought it on the Wii store, but I don't have a
Yeah.
Wii anymore. So yes, I'll emulate the shit out of that. No shame at all. I don't care.
Oh man. Okay, so the last thing I have is Halo Infinite. So the last, what was it? The last week of September, last weekend of September, and then this past weekend. So sort of the last 2 full weekends, they were running that technical preview again.
Hmm.
Which I think the last weekend, pretty much everybody that wanted to be in could be in. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, that game is actually good. I think the multiplayer in that game is good. Hopefully they don't mess it up between now and December 8th. But yeah, it is super fun. Um, they did a lot of things. Like I think the thing that they nailed is the way that the pistol feels and like that time to kill. They really kind of nailed that.
Hmm.
The maps are really cool. The maps feel very, very Halo 3, um, and maybe even some Halo 2. Uh, One thing that I still don't like about that game in particular is the grenades. The grenades just, I don't know. Since 4 and 5, like every 343 game that's done grenades has just been, grenades just don't feel right. Like they don't operate like Halo grenades should.
Hmm.
They just need to. I mean, I've coded websites. They just need to open the code for Halo 3, Control F,
Right.
grenade, copy, Control A, copy all, just paste it into this. That's all they have to do. It's
Right.
that easy, right? Like they just need to make their grenades act like the grenades from Halo 3. That's all they have to do. I don't need them to like ting 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 around and do all
So
this
like
stuff.
sticky grenades is a thing, right? Like the
Yeah, the stickies, the plasma grenades. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's the thing. And then those are pretty similar. They have some new grenades which are pretty cool, but like the regular like frag grenades just have really bad physics in my mind. Like the amount of arc you have to put on them is ridiculous. and like it's just hard to judge
Mm.
when that like muscle memory is just burnt into your like brain. Um, like, oh, if I want to throw it that far, I have to tilt, the view this high. Yeah, no, that game is looking very promising.
Good.
It looks very pretty on my nice big monitor, my nice gaming PC.
Hmm.
I'm pretty excited for that to come out so I can play a lot of it. Uh, it makes me really wonder what the campaign is going to look like. Uh, Obviously, because that got a lot of flack. Um, but yeah, man, I really liked what I played of it. It ran really good. And I mean, they've done at this point like 3 or 4 test weekends.
Hmm.
Like they ought to be ready for that thing to launch at this point, I would think. Um, Digital Foundry, if you've never watched them before, they do like technical breakdowns of games. They kind of looked at what changes happened from like the last tech preview to this one, and they were pretty substantial. They kind of proved that they went in and did like a lot of work to that game, even the multiplayer. So yeah,
Have they
that's all that I've
announced
got.
when the campaign is going to come out?
It's December 8th, same day.
The campaign? I thought that stuff got pushed, or the co-op
No,
got pushed,
the
right?
co-op.
That's
Yeah,
right.
the single player campaign and multiplayer will launch December 8th.
Are you going to
The
play it, you
campaign,
think?
yeah,
Okay.
totally, yeah. Multiplayer is going to be free, and obviously the campaign will be on Game Pass. The whole thing will be on Game Pass, but the campaign will be a standalone kind of Call of Duty-esque type deal.
Gotcha.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, campaign co-op is what got delayed, which is insane. So yeah, that's all I got.
You're missing a game on your list.
Diablo?
Yeah.
Yeah, we played Diablo. We played Diablo 2.
We played that. So
You
we
guys,
recorded on Wednesday and we played it that Thursday.
oh, you know what? I forgot another game. Um, yeah, that Diablo 2 is pretty,
Yeah.
but man, is that Diablo 2?
Yeah. It's like a damn shame, but it's also like faithful to what they're recreating. So
It's kind of it's kind of wild, like how Diablo 2. I mean, it's just that
it's
game.
that
Like
game. Yeah.
there's it was a little shocking, like because we had played through part of that game a long time ago.
Hmm.
But it's just shocking, like just the game design and like we spent a lot of time like wandering around just trying to find something, and it's
Hmm.
just like this is the way video games used to be. This was the fun part, right?
And a part of me is kind of
Um,
like, I don't miss that. I don't
no,
think. Like, I
no,
like
yeah,
having my hand held a little bit more, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When the wandering around, it's not real fun. I mean, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
uh,
you're playing as an Amazon.
yes,
And,
bow and kind of spear.
yeah. And I'm playing as a necromancer, which I guess is like a really common class for new people to the series to play. And mine, like I summoned 4 skeletons and a golem, and they just wreck. I just run
Oh yeah,
around
dude,
and they just take
we had a little
everything out.
army.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a little army there.
Because you hired
Yeah,
someone and I hired someone. So there was
yep,
like 8 or 9 of us running around. It was just to a point where we weren't doing much of anything.
yeah,
So then it's
yeah.
like, what are we doing? Like, we're just running around, and like all these other people are just cleaning up for us. So it's like,
Yep.
are we
There
even?
was no shared loot.
No, no, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, so I'm at the second act.
Yeah.
I've done the first, so I think it's probably the same where it's like each act has like 6 main missions for you to go on. So they do have like some random caves and stuff you could go down that might provide some loot, but
Right.
for the most part they're not really tied to any story. I made it to the second act, so I'm like a level 16 or something. But man, I just fell off that game hard. Like
Yeah.
I haven't played it in like a week. I want to get back to it, but I'm in the middle of a lot of other things right now. So Did you say there was
Yeah,
another
there's
game that you were playing?
there is. So right before we started recording this podcast, I downloaded, or well, I started playing the Battlefield
Yes.
2042
Right.
open beta that is going on right now. I think from now till like all weekend.
Mm-hmm. The tenth, I think, is the last day.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know anything about that game other than like that trailer that showed a bunch of tornadoes and like tsunamis. Um,
The
and
Republicans
so
with their weather machines.
yeah, it's HARP. Yeah, yeah. Go look up HARP on Wikipedia. No, don't do that. Hey, guess what? That's Battlefield. They made another
Great.
one of those. You pick a class, you pick which control point you want to deploy to.
Yeah.
You either just instantly get there or you parachute down. Probably 95% of the people that are deployed are snipers, which is great because I was kind of going through the classes and I was like, oh, let me pick the sniper, see what all this is about because everybody else is sniping. Like, I'm not going to kill anybody. And I didn't have a scope and everybody else had a scope. So that was fun.
Wow.
Meanwhile, there are at least 15 helicopters being flown by people who should never fly helicopters. And they're just going like straight 90 degrees up and down. Tanks just running over people and just exploding. And then there's the map I was on had a literal like SpaceX space shuttle in it that was like trying to take off. And then it blew up like in front of my face. Like I was on like that big catwalk that they put beside those things that like falls down as the freaking shuttle goes up. Like I was literally standing on that and the whole thing exploded. And then my computer started like going about 1 frame a second while that exploded. And then I died.
Hell yeah.
And then I redeployed.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, it's I hadn't played a Battlefield game, I think, since 3.
You know, I don't think I have either.
Yeah, I think 3. But it felt a lot like that. So I had a lot of fun with that.
Battlefield 3 was the Bad Company games after that?
No, I think Bad Company, and then Bad Company 2 was the really good one.
Yes. Okay.
And then Battlefield.
Was Battlefield 3 a modern game?
Yes. Battlefield 3 came, I think, next. And then it was 4, and then like 1.
And then 5?
And then 5.
So 5 is modern, 4 was modern, 1 was World War 1?
Yeah.
Because I remember there was like horses and shit in that game.
Yeah, I can't remember anymore. The one after 1 maybe might have been...
So there's been a Battlefield 1942 and a Battlefield 2142.
Yeah.
So now we're at 2042.
Yes.
Which is not that far away.
No.
2042. Yeah. We're about 21 years out. So what's the future like? There's space shuttles.
There's space shuttles.
Does it look like a space shuttle that you look like, or is there any sort of future twang to it?
Oh no, it straight up looks like a SpaceX, like Heavy Falcon,
okay,
whatever they call that thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like every other Battlefield game is what it's like.
That's great.
You pick you pick your class. Your certain classes have certain perks that they can do. Like the sniper I noticed had like this motion sensor that when people would get nearby, it would just flash red. There's like this mechanic that I don't think was in the older games where when you die, you kind of go down first, and you can pull right trigger to be like, help me up, revive me. And like your character will start yelling and stuff. And there's like a timer that'll tick down that eventually then you'll redeploy. And I literally laid on the ground bleeding to death while like 4 people just stood around shooting the bad guys and not reviving me. And then eventually just deployed and then, went on. I did notice that it kind of put me in a squad, like those older games did. So
interesting.
Yeah, it looked pretty. It looked fun. It's chaotic. I think that's what people like about those games. They kind of breed chaos. So
So as long as everything goes okay, I think we're going to try to play that together tomorrow. Can we squat up as it is now? Does it look like they're allowing that, or are we just going to get randomly into?
I didn't look close enough, but I would assume so.
Okay.
I did also notice in my squad it had logos next to the players that I was squatted up with, and I had a Xbox person, two PCs, and then a PS4 person or a PlayStation person. So it is crossplay.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So it does depict kind of what they're playing on. It ran okay. It was a little hitchy, but I mean, there's like a gazillion things happening at once, like on a very, very large map. So I'm sure they're gonna have some like optimizing to do. But yeah,
maybe try not to buy that day one and expect good results. If we've seen any day one launch this entire year, it's been kind of shit. So
yeah,
yeah.
Actually, so I had to download it through the EA app on my computer, and when I loaded the EA app up, it loaded with no CSS. So
really,
and like the HTML was broken, so all the buttons said like what their class ID was.
Oh, okay.
Like it was like new game title, game name dash owned dot whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's. Then I'm like Neo reading code. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the button I need to push because I've opened the EA app exactly one time
right
then, and that was to download that game. So yeah, I was like, oh, here's all the code. I'm just gonna click the button that says play now.
All right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
all right.
I think their servers are getting hit kind of hard.
So I actually don't know how that works. So at some point, that's going to end up on EA Play, right?
Oh, yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, but I mean, that won't be on Game Pass day one, right?
Well, there's like that weird relationship between Game Pass and EA Play. Like if you have Ultimate, you get certain perks with EA Play. Like I think you can download games and play them for so long and like return them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you get some free games from EA Play too. Maybe I can't remember anymore like what the relationship is. But like, there are Game Pass games that are like on Game Pass, like Star Wars Squadrons is on Game Pass. But when you download it and hit play, it launches the EA Play app.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right. So let me see here. Where do I want to start? Reading Nothing New. Wife and I finished West Wing. Fantastic show. If you know anything about it, show any interest, highly recommend it. It's probably one of the best shows out there that you can watch. It is on HBO Max. It's fantastic.
How's the politics hold up?
It's pretty different, man. I will say this is so it's set in a Democratic president with a Republican House. So obviously there's a lot of tension there.
Yeah.
And the beginning of the show, they did. So I know like everyone wants to be kosher and they don't want to pick sides. I get that. But they did a kind of a bad job at like the Republicans are bad. But what the show is trying to convey is we're Democrats and we have to fight with the Republicans to just try to get anything done.
Right.
But I think as the show went on, that show ran like 7 seasons, and each season back then was like 20-something episodes. And they're 40-something minutes a piece. So there's a shitload of West Wing out there if you want to try to get into that.
Yeah.
Towards the end, though, and it's getting towards the end of the presidency, like Bartlett's presidency, they start painting Republicans like a little nicer, you know. The final season is based around, well, actually part of season 6 and season 7 is based around like the electing what the campaign. Thank you, the campaign.
Right.
And the Republican is played by Alan Alda, which is the MASH guy. So he plays this guy named Vinnick, and he's a Republican, but like everyone likes him. Like even all the Democrats in the House are just like, oh my gosh, this guy is great. He's gonna kick the Democrats' ass, you know. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it was kind of cool to see him because it's like, holy shit, that's the guy from MASH. Like I watched MASH growing up, you know. I couldn't tell you a single thing about MASH. I just know it was always on my TV if my dad was home, you know, watching TV. So it's kind of cool to see him on there. Fantastic show. Also watched, I'm watching Why the Last Man. That's based on that comic book that I've talked about on and off on the podcast. That's been turning out really, really good so far. Very, very happy that is, that's a good show to watch. And then my neighbor came over and we were just shooting the shit and talking about movies and stuff. And he was just like, hey, you should watch Edge of Tomorrow. And I was like, okay, I've never seen this movie. I'm going to watch Edge of Tomorrow.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
You never watched that?
No.
What?
Yeah. Dude, that movie's fucking rad.
Dude. Yeah.
And that is a video game ass movie.
Emily Blunt is a national treasure. Even
yes.
British.
Yes. No, she's oh, what did the sign say? Okay, so
Live, die, repeat.
This is Groundhog's Day.
Yep.
And I don't the movie's not funny, but oh my gosh, to watch
yeah, no, it is funny. I mean,
watch Tom Cruise die just over and over and over again was so great.
Yeah, and he keeps having like those interactions with people, and
yeah. No, that's a
good movie.
Yes, it really was. It definitely caught me off guard because I was like, you know, I had an idea of something I wanted to watch, and then he threw that at me, and I was like, not begrudgingly, but I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just throw this on because he was like, yeah, this is a good movie. And dude, it may have minutes into it, and I was just like, "Oh shit, what just happened?" And the
Tom Cruise just died 5 minutes into this movie.
The time loop thing starts happening, and it's like, "Oh, this is cool. I'm really digging this." But
it's been a while since I've watched that. I should watch it again.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a good movie.
Okay, video games. Rich, I've beat 3 video games since we've last talked. Hold on. My camera's messing up. So, let me start and say that I'm done with Divinity. I have reached Divinity. It took us 105 hours, but we've completed that game.
What is finished Divinity?
We rolled credits. We're done. So,
how did it all end up?
We got a good ending.
Okay.
We all survived. So what happens is, so I played this game with 2 friends. So one of my friends, he played 2 characters. So there's always 4 people in your party. So he took on 2 people. And one of the guys named is Beast. And he was like our tank. And he always just got shit on because it was like he had his Nathan and Matt. So Matt had his main character, Nathan had his main character, and then our tank guy was just like our whatever character. You know, we always just kind of forgot about him. It's like he would always get the hand-me-down loot. You know, he would always just get the bullshit. So we decided you kind of choose like a. This is a major spoiler, so apologies, but you kind of choose like someone is going to reach peak divinity in this game, and so we threw a bone to Beast and kind of handed this to him, you know.
Yeah.
The final boss took us about 5 tries to get through. It's quite challenging. Yeah. Rich, that's one of the best games ever made. That is easily one of the best games ever made. And it is very fun to play with people. The only drawback when you play with people is this game, it's turn-based, and you really have to strategize. I mean, even like from the first fights that you get into, you can't just attack and just keep attacking.
Right.
Like you have to strategize. And if you have, you know, 4 or 3 other people playing, and then you're facing like 6 or 7 characters, you know, there might be 5 or 6 minutes going by and you ain't doing shit. So people go back and forth on, should you play this game solo or should you play this game with people? And I would recommend to play with people. Obviously, if you can play a video game with people, you should do that.
Right.
But I honestly think I would go through and play this game by myself. I understand the strategies. I think I could beat it in under 100 hours. But to be able to play as the different characters, so there's 6 main characters, be able to choose the other 2 characters that we didn't get to play as, and then have complete control over everyone, that sounds like a lot of fun. But if I had to redo my top 10 list, I would have to make room for Moonlighter and Divinity, because both those games are fantastic. And Divinity is, you have any interest in RPGs at all or strategy games, that absolutely must be on your list. And Baldur's Gate 3 just ratcheted up there. Like, I cannot wait to play that game.
Okay.
I have finished the first Shovel Knight. Talked about Shovel Knight last couple weeks. I started the second Shovel Knight and then immediately stopped playing it because it is the same game except you play it as one of the boss characters.
Okay.
But it's funny because it's almost like it's a separate timeline, but Shovel Knight's timeline is still happening. So there's like a hub world, kind of like Zelda 2. Zelda 2 is like you'll go into those towns and it turns into a side scroller. So this kind of does that as well. Well, it's funny because you're a villain, you have to kind of do shit like behind the scenes. So you're like underground, but you can still see the city above. And like as you're walking through, you can see Shovel Knight going through and like dropping off his music notes and, you know, getting his loot and stuff. It's just funny, you know, to see that. Yeah. I'll play that game, but I need to, you know, give a little breathing room. I have finished a game called Blaster Master Zero. Did you ever play?
I don't even know what that is.
Did you ever play Blaster Master on the NES?
No.
Okay. So, I had a buddy that would talk about Blaster Master at work. And, you know, I'd look at screenshots of it and it just looks like, it's just like another 8-bit game, whatever. Like, maybe I'll get around to it. Well, Blaster Master 3 came out, I think, this year. And Blaster Master 03. And when I was looking at reviews of it, 'cause it's like, I've heard this series is actually pretty good. Like the top reviews, people are like, yo, I haven't slept. Like I'm just playing this game. This is all I want to do. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is with these games? So essentially, Blaster Master Zero, the first one, it's like Axiom Verge, where it's got the exploration aspect of it. You are in a little ship, you're in like a little tank, and you're collecting like different upgrades for it, but you're exploring like a Metroidvania, but you can get out of your tank and go into these worlds, and the worlds end up like a top-down perspective, and you can kind of shoot in like 8 different directions, you know.
Right. Okay.
You're kind of slow moving, but this is where you're like going and fighting bosses and stuff. So, and you can get different get different guns for this as well. I don't know what it is about this game, but it's all I could play. I have Game Pass with like the latest and greatest. I've got all kinds of stuff, but I wanted like Axiom Verge to hook me like this, and it just couldn't quite get there. There was something about it that just didn't hook me. This game completely hooked me.
Really? Okay.
I beat it in about 7 hours, and it's incredible. It's an incredible game. It's like, if you like those retro style games and you're not burnt out on them, like, look this game up. It's really fun.
Okay.
So maybe we'll do if we do like another Sunday stream soon and we just start playing some random stuff, I'll throw like Blaster Master 2 on there, and we'll take a look at it. But really, really cool. We've already talked about Diablo 2. I mean, I paid money for it, so I want to try to get my money's worth out of it. I'll continue to play that, but. And then my Michael Matt mornings is still Yakuza 4, having a great time with that. That is almost it. I've got one other thing I want to cover. So I finished Blaster Master Zero, I think it was last night. And it was kind of early, and I looked around, my kids were just playing video games, and my wife was playing Stardew Valley. And I was just like, okay, well, I want to play something else. But I was on my laptop. My laptop can play like games like Blaster Master, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have a graphics card or anything. So I was like, I bought a new router. I got rid of my Google Wi-Fi's, and I bought a new router.
Okay. Why?
Because my Google Wi-Fi sucks. I don't know why. It just did not like my house. Like, I had a hockey puck like to my right, and then I had one directly underneath of it, and just it would lose signal all the time.
Weird.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of people have great success. I don't know what it maybe the house is haunted. It just doesn't like Wi-Fi signals, or doesn't like this, but I worked on it a lot, and I'm not like, I work in IT, so I feel like I understand this stuff to some level. I could never get it to work correctly.
Weird.
I even have when we bought the house, we had Ethernet drops, and so I even thought about like just hooking straight up through the Ethernet. Like, obviously that'd be a better signal, but I don't know. So I ended up buying a router, and I love it. Because I was getting weird. My house is not that big, and I was getting dead zones in my house. So having 3 separate like Wi-Fi's throughout the house, the fact that I was still having dead zones like mere 15 feet away from it was kind of nerve-wracking. So, but this new router I have is great. But sitting there, I was just like, well, I want to play something. I'm going to try xCloud again, or whatever the hell they're calling it now.
Cloud gaming.
Yeah, cloud gaming. I want to try cloud gaming.
I'm not sure.
It's the Game Pass Ultimate thing where you can play not all Ultimate games, but like a good chunk of them.
I think it's like 100 games.
Yeah, it's a good service. And it's been hot or cold with me in terms of if it's going to work good or not. But it also could have been because my Wi-Fi was kind of sucky throughout my house. So I didn't have to download anything. I just clicked Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is the...
You know, I saw you playing that on Discord, and I was like, what the hell is he think he's doing? Like, I just about messaged you and was like, hey, motherfucker, like, we don't get to go out of order here. Like, did you think you could sneak this shit by me? Like, you're going to go play Yakuza?
I need to turn that off.
Oh, dude, yeah, I saw it, and I did. I, like, double-taked, like, wait, what?
So the only reason I chose that is because it's a turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
It has nice looking cutscenes, but playing Yakuza, you kind of have to be precise a little bit. It's a brawler, you know, so you're kind of timing things, but I can get away a little bit more playing Like a Dragon because it's a turn-based RPG. And man, cloud gaming and that is perfect. Yeah. Like, the cutscenes looked really great. Really no hitching. Like, very, very rare would it hitch up just a little bit and kind of remind you, like, oh, you're streaming this.
Yep.
Hey, just reminding you you're streaming this. Yep. But for the most part,
what browser were you using?
Oh no, I don't know. I'm using the app.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if
Okay.
you open up your Game
Right.
Pass app
Yeah.
now,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a tab in there, and you can just go to. I don't even have to use a browser anymore. So
Okay. I forgot about that. Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Um. So I got that sucked me right in. I played the first chapter of that. Fuck man, Yakuza Like a Dragon is so good. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
not only did they get away from like the brawler aspect that is Yakuza 1 through 6 in the Judgment series, but they introduced this new guy named Ichiban. And man, he's so funny. So he like out of the gate, he's just he's young and like all the Yakuza hate him and they're just like, you know, like basically just kicking the shit out of this guy. But there's just something about him. Like he's just so down to earth and he loves Dragon Quest. Like he talks about Dragon Quest a lot.
No, Jesus.
And when you and when you're in fights, it's really like glorious looking and you know,
Yeah.
like when you're throwing punches, like your fists on fire and it just looks really nice. And I think I might try to play through that game all in the cloud. I just want to see if I can do that because I did play it on my PC for a little bit too, and I am hardwired. But man, it was great. Like everything was just
Yeah.
working really good.
Yeah, I haven't tried it in a while. I should try it out again. I mean, there were times when I had like Stadia and Stadia ran,
Yeah.
you know, okay.
So I think they're still locked at 1080. I could be wrong.
Yes. I think so. I do know at the end of this year they announced that Xbox One will get the ability to cloud stream Series X level games.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is kind of bananas.
That is bananas. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm assuming that same ability will come to like a PC. Like I'll be able to, you know, load up a Game Pass game and run it at 1440p.
Cause see, I'm actually moving it to like my secondary monitor, but yeah, to be able to stream that at 1440 would be really, really cool. So, yeah, I'm sure I'll talk about that game. It's a whole different, like there will be characters that you'll kind of playing the older games. It'll be nice to know, but for the most part, it's a whole different story. I don't even know if Kiryu pops up at all. I don't know how Yakuza 6 ends. He might fucking die for all I know. But man, that's a good game. I mean, a lot of people is like, what was that, 2019? They're like, holy shit, this is like my game of the year. Yeah, it's really fucking good. So
Was it that long ago? I thought it was like
I think it
2020.
Was it last year? Like
I feel like it wasn't that long ago. Yeah. Yeah.
well, I'm fact checking. So hold on.
Fact checking kills podcast.
It says released. Oh yeah, 2020. Oh, it came out January 16th of 2020.
Okay. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Oh, that was in Japan. So worldwide release on November 10th, 2020.
Oh, okay. I see that now.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, well that's not too old.
No.
And I mean, I know I said I'm gonna play the Yakuza games. I don't. That game's like 60 something hours. I don't know if I plan on streaming that whole thing. I'm gonna get through the core Yakuza series, and then there's no way.
No, you're gonna do that.
No, I'm not streaming that game, dude. That's too much. Man.
Dude, you're totally going to.
I've already started it.
You can't do that. You can't. You're gonna.
I'm gonna treat it like Witcher. Like I'll pop in from time to time, but I'm not streaming all that fucking game, dude. That's
your
crazy.
Name in blood.
I'll play the core Yakuza, and then that's it. Like I'll be, because I'm not gonna play Judgment. I'm not gonna stream all that shit.
Well,
so.
then no. But
let's learn.
Listen. You have to save some PTO.
Yeah, I know it. It's so good though, man.
Tell your HR you need PTO that's separated called Yakuza time.
Yeah,
You need Yakuza
right.
time.
Yeah,
You can just take.
that's my COVID-19 time.
You need about 60 hours of it. Just send them the link to how long to beat and be like, listen, I gotta have somewhere between that top number and this number in the middle.
Yeah.
For
What is
my
it?
own
Main
well-being.
plus extras. Like
Yeah,
we'll
main
meet
plus extra.
we'll meet there.
Yeah, I'll meet you at main plus extra, for my extra PTO. Yeah.
But you made it like I got to pivot a little bit. You made a comment. I can't remember what game you were talking about. Let me pull our notes back up. It was like feeling a little samey. Some big reviews dropped today, and man, they couldn't be polar opposites from each other.
Yeah.
So Metroid Dread hit. Those reviews hit. Switch OLED came out today. I guess we're pivoting to news. I don't even have a news article about this, but I just thought, like, seeing the reaction of Metroid Dread, and people are like, oh, it's like old school Samus. She's fucking back, but like, it feels new, you know?
Yeah.
And then to see reviews of Far Cry 6, where people are like, yo, this shit is the same, and fucking Waypoint is like, I think they're not going to finish their review because they're just like, I'm done playing this. Like, like they sent out a tweet. It was just like, I'm tired of playing the same fucking game over and over. I'm not reviewing this. Which I don't know if I agree with that or not, but I also didn't read the article, so I'm not going to speak, intelligently about it. I just seen that tweet and I was just like, well, that's a bold ass statement. But
I think that's a little surprising because I felt like the things that I had heard, like pre-release, is like part of their marketing is like that it was going to be different. Like it was going to be, somehow different than the last 3 games, and it doesn't seem that it is.
No.
I don't know. Was this the one that they were like, no, we're going to get into politics now?
No, I think this one's the one. Hold on. Maybe it was.
Somebody
was it 5 where they're
Ubisoft,
like, it's not politics at all, but it was totally fucking
it's not
politics.
But it's totally a like white Colt Montana
right
break.
Yeah.
But no, like one of the games they were releasing was like, no, we're going full on politics now. I don't know if it was this one.
It's set in like a fake ass Cuba or something, so you would think it would be a little political heavy, but
I think they reference Miami in it. Like,
oh, do they?
Like real world settings. But yeah, I mean, I heard some people talking about it, and there's like a literal alligator that follows you around, or crocodile.
Oh, really?
It's like your little buddy.
It's like Roach.
Like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, so this is totally not taking itself seriously, right?
So I'm of two minds. It's like, I liked Far Cry. We just had this conversation. Where did we land with this? I finished 4 and I played 3, right?
Yeah, you finished 4.
Okay.
Yep.
And I've never played 5.
We didn't play 5. No, we didn't play 5.
You know what? Throw me a 30-hour open world just disaster fuck, and I'll enjoy myself with it. I think that sounds fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I would want out of a game like that at this point. Like, if it's polished and it's
I think at this point I've played so many of those games, like I don't really want to play another one.
I think I'm burnt out on that Assassin's Creed formula.
I am too. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. After Valhalla, I got pretty far into that, like 20, 30 hours, and never did finish it.
Isn't that like a 100-hour game, though?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite that long. I think it's in the 40s or 50s. But like Metroid, do you think your kid would want to play Metroid?
I don't know. It
is like the old school Metroid.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, is it scary? Isn't it supposed to be like a little kind of scary?
I don't know.
Because like when they did their Gamescom or like whatever, when they did that announcement, it seemed like that shit was gonna like kind of haunt you a little bit. And my kids have good reaction. They're 7 and 9. They have good reaction speeds, but I don't know. My son's really liking the WarioWare demo. We didn't buy the game yet, but he definitely likes that idea, and we might be trading in Pokemon Snap and going and picking that up. So,
do you have any interest in the OLED Switch?
No.
No? I watched again Digital Foundry did a breakdown of that OLED Switch. Um, Apparently that screen is pretty good. Like, and it actually adds, like, the screen is bigger,
Hmm.
and like the rails that the Joy-Con slide on is a little better. Like, but the way they described it is like a premium version of the current Switch.
Mm.
Um,
And it's only
which is
50
kind
bucks
of
more, right?
yeah, it's kind of interesting, I guess. But I play all my like when I play the Switch, I play it handheld, and I know a lot of people that don't do that, and it's like, well, if you're not going to do that, then there's no reason to buy that thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got a little different dock, and it does have a LAN port, but I mean, other than that,
My
yeah.
wife plays exclusively on her Lite. Like that's the only thing that she really plays video games on.
Mm.
So she she'll have to, so we have an Elgato in the house now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And you know, if we want to start streaming some Switch games, we're gonna have to switch over to the big boy, the big the
So,
big.
so how do you get video out of that thing?
You have to, the dock would go to the Elgato.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay.
So she'll have to like transfer her stuff over because like all of her crazy Stardew
Right,
stuff,
right.
she is
So
dumped.
so how does that Elgato work? Would she play it on the TV, or would she have to play the capture?
I think she would essentially be playing the capture. I mean, it's just
Mm.
one device that has like one output.
Right,
So
right,
you would
right.
be like watching your OBS screen,
Right. Yeah, that's what I was
essentially.
getting at.
I
Yeah.
mean, they said
Yeah.
it's like 1080p 60. Um,
Yeah. No, yeah,
so
those
it's like
pictures look pretty
it
good.
should be good. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is so hey, we'll be able to like stream some Switch games. I think I'll
Hell yeah.
probably get Pokemon, so maybe we'll do a little BitPunch play on that. And
Maybe I'll have to get my hands on an Elgato, and maybe I'll teach my kids how to play Pokemon.
dude, yes, you should. My kids really liked that Let's Go Pikachu. We played that as a family, and that was pretty fun. But it
Yeah.
has the did you ever get into the Pokemon game on phone? The
No, no.
Pokemon
Nope.
Go?
Go. No.
Yeah. Oh
Nope.
yeah, we did for sure. But
Hmm.
it kind of has
You
that
want,
where
you,
instead of like
you're one of those. You're
oh
one of
yeah,
those
yeah,
families.
instead of like flicking the Pokeball, you're kind of just like throwing it with the handheld thing. I don't know, it's cool. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um I mean, we have a couple quick news stories here we could touch on. Epic Game Store's getting an achievement system. You care about achievements?
I don't anymore. I can't really care any less about them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, I have been trying to pay more attention to the Epic Game Store as a whole, because they kind of give games away for free every now and
Mhm.
again, and I'm trying to build up this library of PC games.
Well, man, if you're wanting some free
'Cause-
shit, you need to download the Amazon stuff, and you need to download. I mean, you need to check your Humble every month because the Humble Bundle packages, like some of them are like $12 and you get like 20 games or something. So there's some good shit out there. So
Yep, I need to get on that, because we always are talking about like what do we want to stream, and I'm looking, and it's like I don't have like a ton of stuff at the
mhm.
moment. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's cool. Like people love achievements. I know if it's on Game Pass and I can get Xbox achievements, I'll put up with it crashing every now and then, you know, just to try to get achievements. But
Yeah.
I don't like. I think when I was playing Final Fantasy, the Pixel remasters, I think I was paying attention to those achievements, even though I wasn't really trying to 100% them. But it's like, hey, if you get this Excalibur, you'll get an achievement. It's just
Mhm.
like, oh, well, that would probably be helpful for the boss anyway. I should try to look it up and see how I get that. So you know
Right.
that was about it. But the last thing I have here is that Twitch is having a hell of a day today. So
They did.
they
Yeah,
had
they're
a leaker get a hold of a lot of data.
they got
Uh,
hacked. Yeah.
They got 125 gigs of data, and this user just dumped it on 4chan and was basically like, here's the top 10,000 streamers and here's how much money they make.
Yep.
And
yeah, there was passwords in there, encrypted passwords.
Yep.
The Twitch source code.
Yeah, the source the code.
Yeah, the code for Twitch. So yeah, really a bad day for everybody involved. Did you happen to look at the top earning Twitch folks?
I did not.
Yeah. I actually didn't look, but the article that I read kind of listed off some of them. We got some work to do.
Yeah. So what's throw a number out there for me.
I think the ones that they referenced were like Pokimane,
Okay.
and like XQC, but I don't think any of that is really shocking to anybody.
Sure.
It's all that stuff's pretty unfortunate. But there was some stuff going on with Twitch last week over like the hate raids and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying this was a part of that. I don't know enough about it to say that.
Right.
But yeah, obviously change your password, turn on two-factor authentication.
Yes.
Sort of do that if you ever had a Twitch account at this point.
So, the top streamers, I didn't see numbers, but I did see that they were poking fun at the situation. Pokimane, her stream title today, she was the 38th. I think she was listed the 38th top streamer, and I think her stream today was like number 38 reporting for duty or something. So that's cute, that's cool. Like,
the numbers, like the earnings thing is pretty ridiculous. I mean, a lot of the people that are, making 6 and 7 figures on Twitch, the thing that maybe most people don't understand is that's probably not their biggest income. Because they probably got they absolutely have sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
They do deals, which is all part of that business. Like everybody's watched a YouTube video of like where a YouTuber will sit down and be like, here's what I made in a month, and they're always like, yeah, like I don't take like an ad thing for less than 10 grand, or I don't do this for less than this much money. And it's just like, oh, whoa, like, yeah, that's way more than, what you're getting for your views and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you can't forget George Lucas. George Lucas making these movies, and it's just like, oh my gosh, the Star Wars movies are incredible. But George Lucas is like out there like, no, the merchandise is where it's at.
Right.
So, you've got like my kids, like they got into FGTV for a little bit. And while I find that guy super annoying, I now see his shit in Target.
Yep,
and that's
Blippi.
That's where those people are making money,
You heard of Blippi?
No, I don't know what that is.
Blippi's this YouTube guy, and my kids just came across him I let my kids watch like the YouTube Kids app, which is a pretty good app. But there's this guy on there like Blippi. He's kind of like like a new age Mr. Rogers. Like he goes to like the airport and teaches you about airplanes and all this. He's got like this ridiculous costume, and he kind of acts like he's a 7-year-old. And so I think that's why like kids like it, because he's kind of like acting down like he's a kid, But we were in Target like a couple weeks ago, and like there was Blippi merchandise in there. It's like, oh, this guy's made it. Like,
yep.
And then like I like Wikipedia the guy, and he's like, oh, he's an ex-military guy, and he came back, and he's like, oh, what do I want to do? And like, there's nothing out there for like my nieces and nephews, so he started this YouTube channel.
Wow.
Wild. Yeah. Wild. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep. Bananas. Lots of money to be made out there on the interwebs.
On ads. Advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
My
advertisements.
gosh.
Yeah. Deals. Sponsorships. Who are we gonna get to sponsor us? What's the preferred BitPunch sponsor?
I mean, I've been drinking a lot of Michelob Ultras. That'd be kind of cool. freaking.
kind of beard oil? What kind of beard oil do you need to
You know,
get
I
this
don't know. My wife got the wax for me. I haven't put it in a couple days, but I've done this so much that it's starting to like keep its shape.
Yeah, you're going like Robotnik.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. If I don't twist it and I just like push it out, it makes me think of the Robotnik look.
Yeah.
Like just the full blown like the Jim Carrey at the very end of that movie, goggles on, just beard. Looks really good. All right, let's wrap this shit up. Follow us. All right, here we go. I still don't have this set up on the right key, so I got to click it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to send us an email, you can send that to emails@bitpunch.tech. Check out our website at bitpunch.tech. You can see us stream all the time on Twitch. Our username there is BitPunch. We are currently streaming Yakuza and Prey, some Diablo. We're going to play Battlefield. Might play some grab bag of games on Sunday. We'll see how the world looks then. Follow us on Twitter to keep updated on all of our stuff at BitPunch there. You can see all of our archives at user/BitPunch on YouTube. And then we have a newsletter that goes out at the end of every month. You can find that at bitpunch.substack.com. All of those links and more can be found on our website at bitpunch.tech. Anything else to add?
No.
All right.
No, we're going to play some Battlefield tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds
fun. As long
fun.
as the servers aren't on fire.
When do they open it up? That's the day to stay away. I think it's Friday.
Yeah, I think it's Friday.
Friday was going to be a bad day for EA.
Yeah. Yeah, Friday. Yeah.
So maybe we'll try to get in.
Hopefully they don't knock Facebook down. Hopefully the EA server is not next to Facebook. God forbid.
My God, man, the internet is on fire when shit like this happens because it's like minutes. There's memes out there that are fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it's just like seeing like Mark Zuckerberg in front of like a wire rack, just trying to figure out like which like server rack wire that he has to plug in. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
But yeah. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
And we will be back in a few weeks. See you all later. Bye.
Bye.